But
No, no,
this
no.
is
I have never.
this is not.
I'm not.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You're right, dude. I have sold suits, furniture, real estate. I have fell at all of those.
But this is not even the story that I was hitting at. I was like, this was the first time I had met a Colombian Spanish person in my life. You know, I never really knew somebody from South America before. So I didn't know anything about your culture, where you guys were from, like what you're, you know. So I'm having a conversation with Richard, and you know, we're talking, and so we both were into music. That's where the conversation started, and I was like, so Richard, like, what music, what bands do you listen to? So Richard goes, yeah, my favorite band is the Flippers. And I was like, the Flippers. Then I came home and I looked for the band called the Flippers. The next day I found out that you were talking about the Flippers.
this this story has changed over time, though. I'm sure it didn't happen that way. Gino, Chadil is a witness, but I know he's going to support you. So
Well, what's your version of the story?
I think what I said was Def Leppard, and you guys understood me. Obviously,
Well,
no, I did. I mispronounce I say it like that because that was my Spanish way of saying
yeah,
it.
yeah. But
I just thought like, dude, that's how you say it.
yeah.
And that day you made me realize that no, it's Def Leppard, Richard. I'm like, what? I never thought about the meaning of those two
But Richie,
words.
you were like a born and raised from Colombia, right? Like you actually spent time in Colombia, or were you raised here?
No, I grew up in Colombia my whole life.
What city? Bogota?
Yeah, man, Bogota.
So
I, yeah,
talk about your story a little bit. Like, how did you come here? What are you doing over there?
I was born here
Mhm.
in Elmhurst Hospital, and then my parents went back to Colombia, and then after 18 years, I came back.
Hmm.
I I was culturally Colombian 100%. I couldn't speak a word of English. I was 18. I had just failed 12th grade in high school. Things were not looking up for me, man. But I was excited to come, I guess, to something new. What about you, man? You first came. How old were you?
My story is like, I mean, it's been a long journey. I mean, I've spent quite a bit of my time in Pakistan. Then I went to London. I traveled to Germany. I moved around a lot. You know, I went to different places. Then USA, I went back and forth many times. So that's why I became culturally very diverse. And my first guitar was actually a Spanish guitar. That's where I got introduced to the Spanish culture. So that's why when I met you and you told me that you were a Colombian, you know, playing drums, that's where it started that whole journey. But go ahead.
Dude, the first time I heard you sing, first of all, I thought, I guess, a musician, you're always like competitive. I was like, this guy must suck. And you showed me a song, like two songs. And I was like, wow, man, I really like it. I like how it sounded.
Yeah, but from that whole journey, I remember when I met you, you were doing your master's in English at the time, right? Why
Yeah.
did you decide to go that route? Why did you want to pursue English as a master's? I mean, that's pretty intense.
I don't. What was the study when I met John? It was more like liberal arts with a focus on English. I guess that's what I was good at, right? I could write essays and I got A's on that, so I was like, okay, that's my calling.
Did you want to become a teacher from the beginning, or it was something that just okay?
No, I don't know. I have improvised my whole life. Sorry.
So once you started you finished your master's degree, then you applied to become a teacher, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was New York City Fellowship. It was it was a program for people whose background was not teaching,
Mhm.
but I guess there was a shortage in science and English.
I can
And
just tell by your body language how excited you sound about that job.
man, it's hard. It's very difficult. Teaching in the United States is definitely an experience. But you know what? It really it toughens you up. I mean, mine. I thought in like what was it? It was a very mixed neighborhood. It was kids from all over. Like there were kids from Pakistan, kids from Guyana. And then there were kids from the other side of Jamaica. There were kids all over, but it was rough, man.
What did you
Especially with accent coming from a different
What
background.
did you hate about it the most? Why was it so rough?
It was a lot of bureaucracy. It changes with the mayor.
Mm.
Every time the mayor changes, it's something very political. So there's a lot of the amount of pressure they put on teachers. You have to do a lot of things, and at the end, it's very subjective if you're good or bad.
So
So that's one of the things.
yeah, the main reason why I called you on the show, right, is the other day when you and I went for, I bought that crossbow gun, and I was trying it out, and I called you over to.
That was very unexpected.
I I called you over to come shoot some arrows with me, and you brought these empanadas, and I mean I've had empanadas all over the place. Like I've tasted different empanadas, and not because you're my friend, but honestly, when I tasted the empanadas that you brought, and I was just blown away by how delicious they tasted. And so in my mind, I was like, I always knew you as an English teacher, and now you had transformed into this guy who's got his own restaurant and with such delicious food, and it's growing so fast. So I wanted to know like how this transition happened, and also my show is about helping people who are trying to get into different fields, different walks of life. So I wanted to kind of see your struggle and your journey and your failures as well as your success and the transitions you made from being an English teacher into starting your own restaurant.
I guess I feel like I always been like a wave. It kind of goes with the flow, improvises, and it was almost like I was trying not to drown, just trying, you just try to survive, so you grab to anything. But then I just happened to find this restaurant, and I kind of fell in love with it. I fell in love with the processes, with the customers. I guess feeding people is something very special. Like when we were closed because of the pandemic, we were closed for 2 weeks. Customers were like, "Oh man, we really miss you, man." And they were very genuine about it. So one, as a teacher, you don't make a lot of money, so you have to hustle, right? So it just happened. I had another restaurant before this one that completely fell. I went with my brother, and he didn't. We just didn't have an experience, but we wanted to make money.
What type of food were you selling over there? Was it the same thing?
It was the same. No, it was not the same thing. It was a bakery. We had like kind of like ice creams, frozen yogurt. We have a mix of things. That's one of the problems that we
But
had.
Richie, you could have gone with like selling T-shirts. You could have gone with selling toys. I don't know, all these different things. Why food?
What is usually if you want to try to, most people get into the food restaurant to make money, not to, there's no philosophy. There's no like, whoa, it's just you want to make more money. Like, so as I had it, I have it for 7 years. It became more than just money. To me, it became, more like you start having a philosophy, how you want to, it's almost that I start falling in love, but it just happened to happen in my past.
So it wasn't like the love or passion drove you into it. It was more money, and then it became your love and passion.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
and I would say I have many passions. Business was like you saw me when I was selling furniture. I was not the business type of personality. I'm more artistic. I always been more drawn to music and art, and I enjoy writing, things like that. So business was not really my type of thing. But as I did it more and struggle and learn from my mistakes and improvise, I started to see, wow, this is really an amazing business. I love
the
it.
first business that you had, the bakery,
Mm-hmm.
what made you feel like it was a good opportunity for you? What aspects did you look at and be like, okay, this will make money for me? And then where were you proven wrong, or what did you miss that caused that problem?
We lack to the whole infrastructure behind these things. It has to be uh, that's like the foundation of the business. I'm talking about the refrigeration, how you store things, uh, how you organize. So when we for our first business, we didn't think about any of that. We thought about other things, but not much of it. And by the time we realized our mistake, we tried to, we kind of fix it. But to make money in this business, you have to have high volume, and for that you have to have the same way, an infrastructure behind you that is enough for you to make enough volume to make
So the
money.
first decision that failed, or the first project that failed in your bakery, you saw the volume and the transactions, but you did not see the infrastructure. Is that correct?
No, 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 no. First of all, there were a lot of mistakes. One, you have to really like your product have to be well defined. I'm talking about like the taste, how it looks, how the customer is gonna take it, things like that. And over there, we didn't think much of that. We have many products. We didn't have experience in the restaurant, like we didn't know how to make it. We had to hire somebody else to make it, and then that's a problem. Because you don't really know much about the business actually. So it was bound to fail anyway. But that one led us to this one, and this one had sort of an infrastructure, and then I start making, as I learn the business more, I make more changes. I put a bakery here. Now we have a bakery, like over there, but better. And so you learn. I guess that's the thing about life. You have to persevere. You have to be open, be honest too. If something is not for you, be honest.
But what was it that attracted you to that bakery in the first place, the first one? What factors did you look at to be like, okay, you know what, this might be a good idea?
Our image was nice. Like our image was very modern, right? Uh, Apple. I guess Apple is like very simple. But at the end of the day, that image is very, is the beginning, but it's really not. Your product is actually like your business have to have substance and create value for people. Otherwise, and I guess we did to some people, but again, to make money and stay healthy, you have to have certain volume, and
So
so it was many
So I
mistakes.
think it sounds like superficially it looked like an attractive place, but it was really missing a specialization in product, and it was missing the infrastructure to support that product. Correct?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, like we have many products, but like you're right, we didn't have one specific one because you need to have a product that you can make money, or you could pan de bono. We sell a lot of pan de bono. We were not able to storage that much, things like that, or make that many at one time. So all that infrastructure, the machinery, the ovens, the mixers. If they're small, you can just make a little bit. So for you to make money in any business, like food business, you have to be able to make a lot and feed a lot of people.
What's impressive is that, after that failure, majority of the people would never touch the food business ever again. But you jump right back into it again. Why?
I don't know. I'm stubborn. Like even with music, right? I feel like drums have made me suffer more than give me pleasure. However, for some reason, man, I I felt like I sucked my whole life in drums, but I feel like I haven't sucked in the last 2 years. But I just was stubborn, dude. Like I would do it over again, over again. I guess I don't know. I guess a part of me say, hey, maybe one day I could be good. I don't know. And I think the same with business. I just was stubborn. I cannot give you a reason why. Like I said, it was presented there, and I just took the opportunity. Also, maybe I wanted to get out of teaching.
Yeah. So would
At
you
that
say
point,
by the time you got into this, what's the name of the current restaurant?
La Costeña
La
Market.
Costeña. By the time you got into La Costeña, were you already in love with the food business, or it was still in the baking?
No, when I got to La Costeña, it was after I that one didn't work, and we used to supply bread to La Costeña back then. and they were not a bakery at all. So I got to know. So it was just more the opportunity presented, and again, and the motivation it was make money, just because I wanted to get out of teaching because I didn't really I didn't enjoy it much.
I mean,
It was more
last time I visited your restaurant, there's a line, you know, and everybody, it was just like a non-stop line. And I was really impressed how you not only conquered, like you established your business, you were expanding. I think you even hired me to build your website. So I've seen how you became successful at expanding your business very, very, and I think you're specializing, you applied that strategy as well of specializing in specific products. So if you don't mind me asking, what are those products that you are specializing in now in terms of food?
we sell mostly rice and beans and beef, rice and beef and chicken. And we have a lot of products, roast pork, empanadas. So our menu changes every day. It's mostly people work around, but he has. I had this. I have had this business for 7 years, and so I feel like we have improved every year, and that's what we're trying to do every time. When it comes to taste, right, presentation, we're always trying to improve, and I feel like that is the goal.
I mean, are you cooking all of this yourself, or you have a team? Like, how are you doing this?
No, we have a team. Cooking all this food is for one person is impossible. I mean, the pandemic hit us a little bit, but fortunately, this is mostly takeout, so we're still less than before the pandemic, but we're doing pretty good.
The reason why I asked this is that, like you're talking about a specialized product, right? Now, if you have a team that changes, or you bring in new people that cook, or everyone has a different style, right? So how do you maintain your recipes? How do you maintain that specific brand that you sell?
You have to learn to cook. That's something I had to learn. You have to learn to cook. You have to try to simplify the recipes. They're not too difficult for people to learn. And you have to be able to teach them those recipes. And you could teach them with another, once you as an owner knows the kitchen, which is like the heart of the restaurant, then you have control over those things. And I guess if you want to grow, you could have, once you have a taste and you know exactly what you want, then you're not going to change it. And because all cooks are the same, like you say, each one wants to put a little more this, everybody, because cooking is an art, right? So every cook is different, but you have to be able to train the cooks the way you want to. And I don't think it's too difficult once you are clear from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, Richie, I have a lot of friends that were in IT or different fields and decided to start their own restaurants. Almost everybody, even myself, including myself, has always, had this thought that, hey, I should start my own restaurant, and I would like to introduce my mother's cooking or my grandma's cooking, like all these ideas. And you are the only friend I have that successfully established a restaurant business and was able to run with it and grow with it, right? Everyone else I know failed. What I want to understand is that, is it just luck? I mean, I understand there's a factor of luck as well, but I want to understand some of the things that you did differently that made you successful in the food business, what to watch out for, how did you go about it? And you failed also, so you would have a better insight, right? What could you, besides the infrastructure and the specialization of product?
Yeah, no, you're right. I think I've been lucky, man, in many ways, but you will run out of luck. So every time you start something, you need a little luck, right? And then as you are trying not to drown, you improvise, you do what you have to do. And as you go, at some point you have to learn the business aspect of it, of any business, right? You have many personalities. You have to worry about how you're going to advertise. That's one hat. And then you have to learn how to cook, learn how to do different things that you don't know. I would say that it's too many things, but you have to have control over your taste, and you have to know how do you want it to taste, and then you have to be able to make it for many people. So it's a lot of things to learn, like any business. What happens is the food business seems the easiest one, but it's not, because most restaurants fail. But if you look it up in Amazon, it's like a small business, and it's like the only book. And I felt like that book. And later on, I give you the name of the book. Gave me a
Yeah,
better
I'll put it in
insight.
the description section later on when you send me the link.
Yeah, I think that book has taught me what I was doing wrong, because most people, and this is what the book says, we run our businesses by luck, hoping. And if someone is good and you're lucky, you ride that person out until another person comes and your business start changing. And I think that book explains how to exactly do that, how to exactly take one business like this and make it into something that is uh, more standardized, but more like less stressful as you as a business owner.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, what's fascinating about your story is that it's a success story of a person who had no background in cooking. You know what I mean? You're coming from an English major who's an artist, drummer, and a little bit of sales experience here and there, and then you jump into cooking, and you master it, and you establish it, and you're growing with it. So, I mean, that kind of raises the question, like, you figured out the formula, but I guess you've done it so naturally that it's hard for you to kind of put it in a package just to present it to me to say, hey, this is what I did, but that's what I'm trying to drive out of you, is like, what is that formula that you were able to do this?
You know what it is? I think my story is unfinished, but do you ever read about like a legend or something that did amazing, and the story just took a turn at some point, and you're like, wow, man, that was so unexpected. I feel like my life is a little bit like that. It's like I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life, and I just discovered it a little late, But now the great thing now is that I know what I want to do. I kind of know how to do it, and so I feel great, even though it took me a while to get here. And I feel the same thing with music. It took me a while, but I feel it like so. I guess perseverance, man, because somehow life always helps you out. Somehow life always pushes you forward a little bit. You're like, whoa, man, that's cool. So we're all lucky a little bit, especially if you live in America. Well, that's debatable.
So do you feel like out of all the different personality attributes, you think perseverance is what is the key? Or what for your business model, for what you're doing for the food business, what type of personality traits you think are successful for this type of business?
I think the artistic side, because you need to innovate. And also, I'm very social, so you learn a lot from customers.
Hey, wait, hold that thought. So why artistic side? That's interesting. Why do you think food business is...
Because I think sometimes you have to make things different. And so I think as an artist, you sometimes think outside the box. And I think what I found, most people that run restaurants, they like really good at being managers, right? But obviously, that's good, but also you need like an innovative part that brings your business brings something new to people, or sometimes you figure out a way to do something better. You're always trying to think, how can I do this better? How can I improve? Things like that.
So give an example, right? I mean, everybody makes empanadas. Empanadas is a common thing. You go outside, you find anywhere. Like have been eating empanadas since like years, and then there's a sauce that you sell with your empanada. I have never tasted that sauce. What is that the artsy side you're talking about? The artistic input? Like, how did you create that sauce? I don't want the exact recipe, but how did you what was the process of getting to that product?
No, that sauce was passed down to me. The first owner gave it to me.
Oh, so it's a secret recipe.
And I just kept the secret. I just kept it. But dude, that sauce is amazing, right? Because I had different. So I'm always tasting other places because I'm always comparing it with mine. The same thing I do as a musician. You're always trying to hear other drummers. So that sauce is amazing, very special, man. And the empanada, again, it was not as good as now. And it took me searching. Okay, I want that. I want the shell to feel a certain way, to be a certain way, and then inside, and you work with, until you get to that point, and you're like, okay, this is it. This is home.
Richie, just a few days ago, I was speaking to this guy, this young guy. I was doing some MMA, shadow boxing or whatnot. So he saw me and he was like, you know what, I'd like to spar and train with you. I also do MMA. I was like, okay. So we were moving around, and afterwards, we were sitting down just having a conversation. And he started to tell me like how he was thinking about transitioning into starting his own business and all. He had all these ideas, a young guy, just getting into things, trying to survive and all this stuff. So he was like, that's where I presented to him, check out this video and see, what you can learn from it because of the fields that he was talking to me about. Now, there are some people just like that who will be interested in starting a business like yours, food business. And it's such a common thing. I know it sounds like a basic thing. People are like, oh, food business. But if you look at the numbers in terms of how many people come in and out of food business, it's colossal. It's a huge number. And nobody has been able to kind of successfully figure out like what it is. I mean, you can do all types of calculations or whatnot, but especially you, that you have this artistic side, you have this intellectual side, you've jumped from different boat into this new business altogether. If you had to give your advice, considering the failures and the successes you've had, to this person who's just brand new and trying to start his own restaurant, what would you say to him to be successful?
It's a number of things, and there's different personality. You definitely have to be able to adapt to new situations. You have to think, at first at least, you have to think on your feet. You have to not just move forward, and you have to be a little lucky too. So it's a number of things, but I guess I would say read Small Business by, I forgot the author, but I before I found this book, I read another book, but it really didn't describe the food business the way this book did. So I would say that book pretty much break down at least you have a better idea and understanding, because you're right, dude, it's tough. The reason why most people do this is because when you say, oh, somebody tells them, hey, your food tastes amazing, and they're like, why don't you sell it? And they're like, oh, that's right?
Yeah. I mean, it's
right,
really when you get into the details, then you find out like, where the devil is.
Oh my God, dude. Like I said, if you don't go with a plan, just like you're a business major, right? Kind of, a little bit, right?
Yeah, I've got a strong business background, yeah.
Right, yeah, you need a plan, you need all these things. Like I said, most people, like you're describing, we go in thinking that we know what we're doing, and at the end we improvise a lot, and then you start getting tired and things like that. Fortunately for me, we're doing better than ever right now. Our product has never been as good as it is right now, and I feel like the future is bright. So, but every journey is very different. I'm just saying the future has never been brighter, but the journey of I feel like everybody's journey is different. Like, that's my journey, right? Everybody's different. Success is, I think it's not one thing. Sometimes we think it's something. The great thing about me right now is I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm able to make money. So I feel, wow, that's amazing. I feel that's a good place to be, whatever you do, right?
It sounds like it's been like a combination of evolution and adapting.
Yes.
Exactly. Like you didn't have like a set plan, and I think you were very agile in the sense you're very quick to change the plan and you adapt to the plan. So it wasn't like you made a big plan and then you started executing. It was like you made a small plan, you executed that much, you learned a ton, and then you changed and evolved and you kept moving with the target.
Yes, I improvise a lot. I'm not improvising as much now, but in the beginning, you improvise as much as you can, and you just move forward as much as you can. But you're right. Part of it was adapting, and also, you know what? I'm a quick learner. I listen. I guess that's good too, to listen, especially to your customers.
So what is the next big thing, or is there anything you're working on for your business, for your restaurant, that you would like to share with the audience?
I would like to, within not too long, open another one. That's my
And
goal.
have you thought about the location? Where are you? Where is this location restaurant located
I
right now?
feel so confident. I feel anywhere would work, anywhere. But I would like to bring it to more like a west, not too far, maybe an hour from here, but people who are not being too exposed to this food. But that's really an understanding because empanadas, they're known, like everybody knows them, and I feel like America is ready for the next like empanada explosion.
If somebody wants to order your empanadas, what's the way to get in touch with your restaurant?
We are obviously on Facebook, Google. Uh, we are located in. Should I give you my address right now?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, 201 Essex Street in Hackensack. You could call us, and our food, like our place is like a gem. It doesn't look like much from the outside, but
Yeah.
once you come inside, people are like, "Oh my God, this is really, really good."
Yeah, it's one of those like secret spots that you don't really know about till you really discover it, right?
Yeah, you have to, the product is a special.
What's the number for the restaurant?
201-343-4499.
And if you want to give me some information that I can put in the description section for your restaurant so people can order and check out your food, that would be wonderful. Like I would love for people to discover the food that you're creating. It's really wonderful.
Yeah, man. I love when new people taste my food. It's fun to. That's why when I brought my empanadas to you, I always like to watch how people express because you could tell if they like it, how they express themselves, how they, if you're nice, they're like, oh, it was okay, it was good, it was good. You're like, this guy didn't like it at all. So I enjoy when people and actually our clientele is very diverse. People from all over are here. It's not like one kind of people. It's all over, man.
Yes.
Diverse.
Last thing I wanted to ask you before we end this conversation was your drumming. Have you been working on any projects? Anything in the pipeline? I know you're an amazing drummer. Are you working on something?
Oh man, I'm waiting, man. I'm waiting, Dar. I'm waiting. I've been practicing a lot. And I bought new cymbals, man, just because we were gonna rehearse that day.
Yeah.
I bought a new pedal, man. But I'm loving life, man. I can't wait to do that song with you. It's really nice, man.
And you recently went to Colombia and did some
I thought I was never gonna make music with you, dude. So that's how excited I am to make music with you.
But the project that you also did a project in Colombia, right? Is there anything else?
Oh yeah. We with Muisca Music. You can check it out. They are on Instagram and Facebook. Muisca is a word from a native culture in Colombia. Yeah, we went there for like 2 weeks and we just played all over the Caribbean. And they gave us free stay, free food in some places, and free drink. But man, I can't wait to make music with you. I haven't played in forever, man.
I'm looking forward to it as well.
Come back, man. I can't believe he's not going to be here this weekend or next weekend. Come on, Tim.
All right, Richie, thank you so much for your time. And hopefully I'll see you again. And make sure you bring your empanadas and your secret sauce next time you come to my place.
John, I love you, man.
I love you too, brother. Peace.